Hello. Now we're going to talk about the tools you need for fly tying. You're going to have a lot of people come to the store and they're going to use a terminology that is unique to the fly fishing industry that we don't use every day. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, I'm going to go through it over here. I'm going to hit on it. It's going to be real quick. I'm going to give a couple of quick video usages as well so you can see what it means. But when you tie flies, tying flies, also historically referred to in England as dressing a fly. If you talk to fly fishermen, they have very colorful language, and a lot of it comes from England. It's a process of making an artificial fly to catch fish. You didn't use night crawlers and minnows and other types of bait fish early. That was it's an art form. Fly tying is an art form. It's done by a single individual using hand tools and a variety of natural man-made materials that are attached to a hook. Those are all going to be things that you're going to sell in your store. They say that recent history takes it back to the 1800s, but there was stuff way back to 200 AD where people were tying flies. All right, let's talk about the tools you need. You need a fly tying vise. You can find vices that are either a tabletop with a base, or you can find them where they're clamped to a desk. Most fly tyers have a desk that they tie on. It's beautiful. They've got stuff laying all over. They've got their tools laying over, and a lot of them will have more than one vise, and their vise isn't tying flies, but they will keep upgrading their vise. That's their first tool that they really need, and that's to hold the hook. The hook gets held right in there, and then they tie the fly from that. You'll also notice that they have lights. Some will have magnifying glasses, but they have the fly tying vise. Then they have the bobbin, because to tie a fly, you need to have thread. So you put your thread in here and there's pressure, and it comes out this little point over here, and that gives pressure so you can tie articulately and accurately when you're tying that fly. Then there's threads. Man, oh Shevitz, I'm not going to go through all of it. Just know there's lots of different types of threads, different diameters, different makeups, and now there's even Kevlar threads. Just know there's different types, and you don't need to memorize it, but there's different sizes used for different size flies, different size hooks. Then there's the fly tying bobbin threader, and that's to pull the line, that tiny little line, through that little eye off of your bobbin. I'm going to show you a video in a second that shows you how that does. So fly tying scissors. Fly tyers have really good scissors. They are tying little feathers, and they need to cut in these really intricate areas. And because of that, they will have more than one scissors, and they will keep rotating their better scissors. They'll use their less good scissors for cutting things like wire and things that may dull their scissors. You'll notice some have a curved tip, some have a very pointy tip, and it's unique to their hand style and size and the materials that they're cutting. The bodkin. The bodkin is a very pointy piece of wire that actually helps them move their thread around or move their material or even their epoxy when they are finishing their fly. A fly tying half hitch tool, whip finish tool. Now, you know what? This is hard to talk about, so I've got a video here. I'm going to show you this video. Maybe I won't. Let me move this over here.
Whip finish, 2, 3, 4, even 5 turns, depending on the size of the fly. A whip finish can be achieved either with a specialist tool, like the one you see here, or with the fingers. Most times.
Now you're going to see right here that the vise is right here. It holds the hook, and this is the bobbin that's holding the thread. The thread is coming out. They go around. Now what they're trying to do is finish this off. They have to tie a knot, and it would be very hard to tie a knot with your fingers. And that's what the whip finish tool does.
Although the various models do differ, they all work on a very similar principle. That is, they have a hook at the front end,
That's what he's talking
a
about.
sprung metal arm lower down.
That's
the
down
thread
here.
is then looped around both of these arms, forming a running loop. To create the whip finish, first place the hook of the tool directly onto the thread, and then loop the tying thread around the arm Bring it up so that the thread is now parallel to the hook shank, and make half a turn with the tool so the tool is sitting above the shank and creating a reverse figure 4 with the thread. Make a second half turn, so bringing the tool beneath the shank. That will be a single turn of the whip finish. Allow the loop to increase slightly, and then make a second, third, fourth and fifth turn. Then let the thread slip off the arm. Pull the end of the thread so the loop closes. As the loop closes, remove the hook. Pull the thread tight. Then trim off the loose end.
There, you just got to see all of the tools except for the little pointy thing used in this video. Okay, now let's go through the other things that we need to look at. Fly tying head cement. All that is something that once you have your threads and your materials on the hook, you want them to bond, and so they call it head cement. And there's various kinds. Again, you don't need to worry too much about the particular ones that are out there. You look at which ones you have in your store and just learn from there. There's wax. Wax is rubbed on a thread, creating a sticky finish to attach dubbing. Dubbing is the fluffy stuff that they put over thread. Wax is optional since the oils in your hands may offer enough moisture for the dubbing to adhere. If you suffer from dry hands, wax may be more important and necessary to place a uniform layer of dubbing on thread. Again, they put the thread down first to get a base layer. They put dubbing, which is kind of a fluffy thing that gives you the look of a fly with the thorax, all that little furry stuff that's on a fly. And then you have fly patterns. And then I'm going to show you one other, the bobbin. So this is what a bobbin is and how it works. So let's take a look at that. So you put the thread in there, that gives it tension, but then you need to pull that thread through. We talked about this tool earlier as well. Simply a little piece of wire with a loop in it. You put your line through it. And then now you can pull it straight up and through. I don't know about you, but my eyes aren't good enough to get that thing through. I'd be wetting that tip of that thread nonstop. So there you go. That's what it takes. Let me turn that off so it doesn't keep playing that beautiful music in the background. That is the real basics of fly tying. I didn't want to make this too long. I wanted to make it something that you could go back and refer to. You're going to see some beautiful fly tying patterns, and you've got a lot of good ones in the store, and you have all these different materials in the store. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them, and thanks. Have a great day.